August 12th, 2021. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 239 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, when are we going to Vegas? We keep talking about it.
I have no idea.
No idea?
No idea.
We were going to go in October.
It may not go.
It's on my birthday.
I know.
We have to go to celebrate.
Yeah. Maybe they may be closed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe we don't want to risk making reservations now and then losing a deposit. Okay, so yes, we were planning on a weekend in October. It's not that they've switched over to masks and that, you know, the cases are rising in Clark County so much as just our lives, you know. And particularly you and your business, obviously you're self-employed, so it's important, you know, that you get in as many hours as
It's
you can.
going to be we'll know more at like the end of September, maybe.
Okay, so we're not making any commitments right now. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
No commitments for, Great Gift Wrap-Up in December?
If they have that, yeah.
Maybe. What about Biloxi in March?
Maybe,
Remember?
maybe if everything goes okay.
All right, so that's still up in the air. And we got an email from listener Will, who pointed us to a song with a heavy gambling theme. It's called Paper Rain by Andrew McMahon. And the lyrics tell the story of someone who's desperate for money and needs to win. And, that's never a good thing, but it makes for a good song. And it's definitely got some heavy gambling themes and Vegas themes and even lyrics specifically about craps. I'm just going to read a couple of lyrics here. For example, "Oh, Las Vegas, I'm running out of time." So obviously, he's going to go to Las Vegas to gamble. "The valley floor where the neon soars like a hand to heaven. I've got work to do rolling them sevens." So there you go.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the song even, "Got a stack on the line and a stack behind, rolling like a wave on a moonlit night, money on the 4, money on the 8, paying down the marker because the bank won't wait." There you go. He's got a line bet with odds.
Yeah.
He's bet on the 4 and the 8 for some reason. It's kind of an odd combo, but maybe he's got money on other numbers as well.
Maybe he's not a don't player, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's nice.
Right?
I mean, he's better chance for a big roll if he needs to pay off his debt. You're winning $5 on the don't. Doesn't make sense.
No. And he's got a marker out that he's got to pay.
Yeah.
Even though towards the beginning of it, it looks like he was selling some stuff to a pawnbroker to get some money. So I don't know. It's I think this guy's gotten himself into some financial straits here. Let's just say
maybe,
that.
Maybe not.
Anyway, again, the song is Paper Rain, and that sort of represents money raining down on him, right? That's the paper money. And the artist is Andrew McMahon. I'll put a link to his video in the show notes.
Okay. Is there craps in the video?
Yes. It's interesting because the video tells a little bit of a different story than the lyrics. In this version, there's a kid who kind of overhears his parents talking about how they don't have a lot of money. And so he gets some money and dresses up to look older than he is and goes to like an underground casino. And craps is one of the games that he plays. Yeah.
All right. So it borders on child endangerment.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So, whereas the song itself is about a guy who's really gotten himself into a terrible situation and he feels that gambling is the way out of it, then the video on top of that makes it a minor who's trying to solve these problems. And so
I don't know that
very
we should
problematic.
be condoning any of this, Mark. Any of it. It all sounds pretty iffy to me.
It's I'll put a link to the show notes, and if we get a lot of complaints, then I'll take the link down.
Okay.
Hey, we've got a lot of phone calls this episode, so let's get to this right away. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, first up is Jim.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, or should I say Dave and Dr. Dave? It's Jim or Dave from Ohio. Last year's been kind of weird. I haven't really had much time to listen to the show. I spent the past few weeks catching up on the previous dozen episodes or so, and I have some comments. Number one, it's good to be back. Good to hear you guys again. Two, in Ultimate Hold'em, somebody called in and said something about their wife made a player at the table angry because they sat down and got 4 of a kind or whatever, and that would be a hand that went to them. The player who's angry is technically right in that hand would have gone to them. You said that you don't think the cards would have come out that way, had she not sat down or so forth. But the way the cards come out on that specific game is the community cards are dealt first out of the shuffler, and then each player gets 2 cards in turn, 2 at a time. So the cards are actually in a set order, essentially, when they come out of the machine. So, if there's 2 players at the table, they're going to get cards number 1, card set number 2, and then the dealer will get card set number 3. And if another player sits down between them, then that second player will essentially be taking the second set of cards from who is now the third player. And I'm sure Mark will be quick to point out that that is exactly as likely to help you as it is to hurt you, which is absolutely the case. But you are technically taking somebody's hand. So, if somebody wants to be petty about it, they can. No reason to be, of course. And finally, Dr. Mike, I can't believe you didn't tip that waitress, man. That lady walking by, she was right to call you out. I know she didn't see that $5, but you should have given her another $5 tip just for show. Anyway, love the show, guys. Good luck.
Yeah, you really should have tipped Dr. Mike.
Yeah, I'll consider it next time.
Okay, good.
Hey, isn't it a continuous shuffler?
Well, in this game he's talking about, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, it is an automatic shuffle machine.
But does it continuously shuffle before he pushes a button to deal out the cards?
I think so, but I don't think it continues to shuffle while the cards are being dealt out. That's actually a good question. That could be the case.
Because if it continues to shuffle before they press the button, then a person sitting down, buying in and stuff, there's more shuffling going on. So, yeah, it's not the same cards.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the thing is, don't ever...
I understand his point.
Yeah, no, I do too. Don't ever worry about, hey, if I hadn't sat down or if that person had sat down, how would the cards have gone? You can think that way in poker. It'll just drive you crazy because ultimately it doesn't matter. We're talking in the long run. But if you focus in on those single events... Again, yeah,
well, that's weird.
It's going to help you.
A gambler would focus in on some kind of superstitious event.
Yeah.
That's strange. It seems strange to me, Mark.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right.
I've never heard of that.
Okay. Well, I'm educating you then, I guess, along with some people out there. Anyway, that's our advice is try not to get too caught up in it because now, it's going to happen and people are going to get angry. This original story was somebody was angry because a new person sat down and they're thinking, oh, it would have been my wife's cards or, whatever.
Well, and my point is if it was a continuous shuffler, when that person sat down and bought in and all the time it took to get them situated.
I see your game. Before the dealer actually pressed the button to say start dealing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if it shuffles for like 3 minutes, and then, the extra 2 minutes are added in there while this person buys in. Then it's been shuffling for 5 minutes. So it's totally different cards than would have happened had the person not sit down.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good, Mike. I'm glad you pointed that out. Good thinking.
Now, if it's a continuous shuffler, I don't know.
Well, I
would assume it is.
I think it keeps shuffling until the dealer actually presses the button to say, okay, I need the cards. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Sure.
Right. So it's a moot point because it would have been different cards.
And what I'm getting at is it really always is a moot point.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to think that way so you don't drive yourself crazy.
That's not a long trip. All right. Next call.
All right.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Andrew from Phoenix. Wanted to give you guys a quick update on craps out here in Arizona. Just did a quick drive-by on the 31st of July to Wild Horse Pass, just south of the airport. They had 3 tables. None of them were open until 10 a.m. or noon, but they were all $10 tables when I was chatting with a poker dealer. Just wanted to see if you guys have any upcoming plans to come out to Arizona now that we have real dice. Can't wait to see you in Vegas otherwise soon. Take care.
We're going to hear from Andrew again, where he actually did go and play. Mike, it just occurred to me with Real Craps and Roulette now coming to Arizona, that will be the closest place to us to play Real Craps. I think there's a casino right there on the state line, right on the other side of the state line.
Well, that would be the closest.
Yeah, if they're already, some of the casinos are ramping up to play these games. But yeah, that would actually be the quickest play.
The quickest to drive to.
Yeah. Something to keep in mind, Mike.
All right.
Okay, if you're heading,
if you want to drive to Yuma,
if you're, it's that we're going to drive to Vegas, right? It's like, okay, are we going to go on a trip? Well, it could be Vegas.
Check
could
that
be
Yuma out, see if they have like a whole strip of casinos.
A whole strip. I don't know that Yuma has a whole strip of casinos,
that
but
one.
I think
we'll be
there's
stuck there. And congratulations to Andrew, who just had his second baby boy.
That's right. Yeah, Andrew came out here not too long ago and was telling us all about it. And he and his wife were actually staying at a hotel kind of on the beach, and he came and met us out at the casino.
Yeah, she was pregnant then, had the baby yesterday.
That's great.
Day before yesterday.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, congratulations, Andrew.
Yeah. I had suggested that they named the baby Seven.
Oh.
But they didn't go with that.
They didn't.
No. But isn't Seven a great name for a child?
Yeah, that's what George Costanza said. There was a whole episode of Seinfeld where he wanted to name the baby Seven because it was like Mickey Mantle's number, right?
Right. Yeah, well, it's also Frontline Winner.
Yeah.
Your kid would be Frontline Winner all the time.
Yeah. That really is a good name for a kid.
Yeah.
Gosh,
boy or girl, Mark.
Yeah, that's
boy
true.
or girl.
Gosh, it's too bad we're done having kids.
Seven, nickel.
Yeah.
I also like nickel.
Dime? What do you think of dime?
No.
For a girl.
Oh, maybe for a girl, yeah.
All right.
It has a feminine ring to it.
Next up is Keith.
Hi, this is Keith from Salt Lake City, Utah. I just wanted to comment on why they don't give comps or point credit on the dice machines and roulette machines and stuff. And I think it's mostly because people can bet against their own bet over and over and over and over again. Like on roulette, just put it on black or red, which are still the zeros that come in play. So roulette's not as big a deal. But like if you're playing the craps machines, you can bet on the don't and bet on the pass and just let it keep going over and over and over again and build your points. Anyways, I think that's the reason why they do that. Anyways, thanks for what you guys do.
I mean, that could be some of the rationale.
Could be, but you can do that on a regular table too.
Yeah. So,
I mean, here at Harris Rincon, they let you do do-y don't.
Yeah, just adjust the comp system on the machine accordingly, right? Because it's still a loser in the long run. Yeah, even at the craps table, pass line, don't pass, a 12 is a push on the don't and a loser on the pass line. So I don't know. I have no trouble.
That may be part of their reasoning.
That could be the reasoning.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because a casino would be that weird about it.
Right.
Even though you can go to the roulette table and bet red and black.
Yeah. I can understand why these machines don't offer a lot of points, but the ones that offer absolutely no points, that I still can't understand.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll tell you, I know this for a fact on Shoot to Win, you cannot bet both the pass line and don't pass. As soon as you've made one, the other darkens out. So you can't even do it.
It won't let you do that.
It won't even let you do it. Now, that might be something that the casino can set. I don't know. But I know, at least I've seen it on Shoot to Win. So, but yeah, you're right, Keith. That might be the rationale. All right, next up is Steve.
Hi, this is Steve from Virginia. Just got done listening to your podcast, and I wanted to let Cody know that being a fellow Virginian, and when I was in the Navy, going to play craps was probably my number one weekend liberty that I enjoyed the most. But the way I managed to do it was to take a junket from Virginia Beach up to Atlantic City to play. Now, just some food for thought, Virginia has actually passed casino gambling in our state, and the first ones are supposed to open late 2021, early 2022. So, tell him to hold strong. We'll see him at the tables. And to let y'all know also, I am actually heading back to Cherokee, North Carolina, to play some craps. I'm meeting a friend of mine from the Navy, and I'll call you back with an update. Again, I love the podcast. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to hear from Steve again later, find out how that trip went.
What's wrong with California and no real gambling yet?
I don't know, Mike. I mean, we've talked about on the show, why is it taking so long for this ballot measure to come? We're not going to be able to vote on it until November of next year, 2022.
Right.
No, I know. it's frustrating. And even, seriously, I'm thinking, oh man, Real Craps is coming. And it's still over a year away. Hopefully January 2023.
Yeah, that's what I told somebody today. I said, about a year and a half from now, you'll see it.
Yeah, we're going to watch a Winter Olympics before we have Real Craps here,
Right.
Dr. Mike.
Yeah, we're going to have seen 2 Olympics.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Tommy from Dayton, Ohio. Came across the show a few years ago and have been listening ever since. Love what you guys do. Calling with a trip report from Biloxi from a few weeks ago. Wanted to hit one thing that you guys mentioned on this week's show about the minimum buy-in, and that is true. There was, and I think it was the Palace, there was a $100 minimum buy-in on a $10 table, which I had never seen before, but yeah, that was in play at the Palace. But the real story that I wanted to share was towards the end of our trip, we were at Harrah's in Biloxi, and it was a $15 table bought in with $200. It was about 10:40 a.m., and we had a 12 noon shuttle that we needed to catch. And I just wondered if you guys have ever been in this position, which I've been in a few times, but not quite to this extent. What happened was we got a hot shooter. And even with the hottest of hot shooters, we're figuring, we'll be done by 11:45 a.m. and have plenty of time to go up, grab our bag, and make the shuttle. But he kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and the majority of the table was on the shuttle as well. So we're all sitting there talking to each other like, what are we going to do? If he keeps rolling, are we going to miss the shuttle and take a taxi to the airport, which in Biloxi, isn't just down the road. So it's not quite that easy. But anyways, I started with $15 place bet and then eventually ended up getting every number pressed up to about 100. The guy to the left of us had the table max on every number. It was just one of those rolls that comes along once in a great while. I cashed out for $1,800 with no bonus bet, no fire bet, no all tall small, just on hitting numbers. Eventually, we all stopped betting in the middle because it was taking so long to pay out. There was so much money on the table that we're like, man, we got to eventually stop because we need to make this shuttle. But anyways, it was a great roll. Just wondered if you guys have ever been in that position where you're about to miss a flight or miss a shuttle. Thanks, guys.
The only time I can remember, and Mike, you weren't with me. I was on a trip with my grandparents. We were at what was then the Las Vegas Hilton. And yeah, I was at the craps table and I was watching the time. I knew exactly how long I could play. And my story is not as interesting as Tommy's. I just, at one point said, okay, I've got to stop, take all my bets down and color me up. And, that was it. And then we, left for the airport. Can you think of a time?
Well, my dad and I were at Tropicana, and he was on a heater at Blackjack and was doing really, really well. Oh,
yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, we got to go because that was back pre 9/11. So you could get there like 5 minutes before and just, run onto the plane.
Yeah.
But we were getting to that point where we weren't going to be able to drive there.
Even though Tropicana is like the closest casino to the airport,
we were cutting it very, very close. And he's like, well, just leave me. And, and I'm like, I'm not leaving you. I'll get a room tonight and fly back tomorrow. Well, he would have no clue how to change his reservation or anything. So anyway, I ended up talking him into coloring up, which is good because he probably would have lost it back.
Yeah, right.
But he was on a big heater. And
well, that's interesting because it's not craps. The thing about a blackjack heater is, you could win a bunch in a row. But it's a little easier to walk away, right? You don't have a bunch of bets out on the table like you do at craps, right?
Each hand ends. Yeah. Well, this is similar, I guess, in some respects, but not exactly the same. So there was a guy betting the don't, and he walked away from the table. He had a $100 don't come bet that had moved up to a 5, and he put $600 odds.
And where was this?
It's Harrah's Rincon.
Okay.
He walked away from the table and went to the bathroom, and they turned his bet off.
Huh. Interesting. Even though
they said if you leave the table, your bets are off.
Yeah.
And so when the 7 came and he was still in the bathroom, he did not get paid on his don't bets on the 5.
That's really interesting because, that's a contract bet as well as a come bet, right? It's just the contract's kind of reversed.
Right.
And so they completely turn it off. That's interesting because if it had been a come bet,
Yeah.
They wouldn't have turned it off.
Well, they wouldn't have turned his base off. They could have turned
That's what I mean. They could have turned his odds off, but not the base bet.
Right.
But turn the whole thing off. So what did he complain?
Well, he said something about it, and they said, well, if you leave the table, we have to turn everything off. No matter what bets you have on the table, we turn it all off because, if it hits, we don't know if you want to collect it, parlay or whatever. And if it loses, it's not. So we just turn them all off. And he said, he was pretty cool. He said, well, if that's the rules, I just hadn't heard that before is what he said. And they said, well, now you know.
Yeah.
And they do that out there.
Sure, I understand.
They've told you before when you've walked away.
Yeah, but not with don't. See, that's what makes it interesting.
But interesting is it's a don't bet.
Yeah. Huh.
Right? So they could have easily, a 5 could have easily come up. Would they have taken it? I guess not.
I hope not.
Off.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully somebody said something. You actually put an off button.
Oh, they did.
It.
They put an off button on it.
You'd think, though, there would be 2 off buttons, right? Or at least you want to make sure that they know the base bet is off.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit, but it is interesting.
Yeah, talk about, it's not exactly the same from walking away and pulling all your bets down. But if you had come bets, you can't really walk away.
No, I mean,
you could take your place bets down, but you'd have to leave the base bets up there.
Yeah. So, yeah, you could, like you said, turn your odds off. But
for me,
it depends on the casino, right? Now, and I know that's their policy at Harrah's Southern California.
Right.
But I'm sure it's not at every casino. There are probably plenty of casinos where, I'm sorry, I have got to go to the bathroom. Just, this is an emergency.
Right.
But I want to keep working.
Right.
And I'm sure there are some casinos that would allow that and keep the bets working.
Maybe, yeah. And depending on if they know you and how much you're betting too, that might have a lot to do with it. Well, what about, you're getting ready to, like in this case, you need to be on that shuttle.
Yeah.
And you've got come bets. Let's say you had 4 come bets up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do?
That's a difference. Or just even the pass line bet that you've got out there, right? Maybe it's a big $100 pass line bet. Yeah. That's a contract bet.
Right. For me, it depends on, what that taxi ride's going to cost or, how much it's going to be. Actually, the taxi's going to go faster than the shuttle. Getting there.
Sure.
So you have a little more time if you take the taxi. You can probably wait it out. And if you're going to win one bet and that's going to pay your taxi ride, then I stay and take the taxi.
Yeah. What we would do in the future, it would have to depend. Now, like Tommy was saying, he thought they had plenty of time, even if there was a hot shooter.
Right.
Plenty of time. But like you said, what if a guy rolls for like an hour and a half and he's rolling numbers, but not the point?
Right.
Right. I don't know. If I'd won significantly amount, I'd probably say take all my bets down. Anything that's a contract bet that's still out there, it's a tip for the dealer. Yeah.
Well, I avoid the whole problem. I just don't play on the last day. 24 hours before we have to leave, I stop playing. I just watch.
Exactly 24 hours?
Exactly. I give myself 24 hours.
24 hours is your thing.
I stand and watch, yeah.
All right, so next time any listeners do run into us, let's see if Dr. Mike's telling the truth.
That would be like torture. I would die. I'd kill over. What did he die of? Waiting.
That's right.
Waiting.
Mike, don't you want to get in the game? No, I've got a flight in about 10 hours.
Yeah. What if it's a long roll? I'll feel terrible.
All right, let's hear from our buddy Andrew again.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Andrew from Phoenix calling back. Was able to get out to Wild Horse Pass and shoot some craps on a Tuesday night, which felt good. First time here in Arizona. Wanted to give you guys a few updates on the conditions. 3-4-5 odds, $200 hardway max. I forget what the inside is. It was $10 minimums. They had 2 tables going with 8 players on each side. Overall, a good experience. The dealers were a little green. Some of them were more experienced, but some of them were still struggling to make payouts. So I think it'll be something that they work out in time. Overall, had a good time, and hopefully you guys will come out to Phoenix sometimes and we can do a meetup. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, so there you go. One of these nights, and when we're about to drive up to Harrah's, let's just drive to Arizona instead.
To Phoenix, though. He wants us to go to Phoenix. That's a 6-hour drive, Mark.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. We got to be home by midnight. It's 5. Okay.
I guess we better turn around. Doggone it, we didn't make it.
Hey, Andrew didn't say what the max bet was, though. He said 200 on the hardways.
Yeah.
I wonder what the table limit is.
Oh, just like on pass line and stuff? Yeah. I would imagine maybe $1,500, $2,000, something like that. Maybe as high as $3,000. That would be my guess.
Right.
Based on a
low 200 limit on hardways makes me think.
That's true.
Makes
you're right.
me think maybe it's like, 1,000.
Maybe 1,000. No, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that's pretty low limit on hardways.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Like I said, this week.
We'll find out when we go to Phoenix.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hi, guys. How you doing? This is Niles Mikaza calling in again from Chicago. Got another trip report. Last weekend, went to the Horseshoe in Hammond, Indiana. And let me tell you, when I walked in there, that place was pretty vibing in there. Let me tell you. Kind of had the Vegas feel to it. Obviously, it's not Vegas, but it did have the feel. So first thing I want to say is I went to the regular craps table and I broke even. But what I liked about how the Horseshoe is they set up, I don't drink alcohol, so they set up the pop stations to get soda just by yourself. So you go, you grab a cup, you get a pop. You don't have to go to the bar. You don't have to go. So that was awesome. So at the crab table, I would just literally run 20 feet behind me and grab the soda, come back. I wouldn't miss a roll. Well, however, I wanted to give bubble craps a try. And so what I was doing on the bubble craps was I was trying to do a 2-hit and quit. And I was putting about $50 on every number across and then buying the 4 and the 10. I was just hoping for 2 hits and then a quit. And it's just my recommendation on the bubble craps, that 2-hit and quit strategy, it didn't work. The bubble craps is just, I feel it's just way too random. Maybe it was just bad luck. I don't know. I know you guys don't believe in the luck or whatnot, but I just wanted to get your guys' input on the bubble craps and what you guys think. It's not like the real game. I wouldn't recommend it to other players. It is nice to set up your own bets, but at the same time, it's just too random and how that thing just juggles the dice. So, like I said, just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on bubble craps. I am not a fan, but what do you guys think? Thanks, and keep up the good work, guys.
So it's definitely a different experience playing electronic craps, bubble craps, versus a real craps game. For many reasons, right? The electronic screen versus real chips. A lot of times the minimums are lower, the camaraderie's different, you don't get to roll. There are a lot of things that are different. But the rolls of the dice are no different. They're random on both tables. And I know that Niles is talking about, it's too random on, the bubble craps, but it's random on the regular table too. And I'm sure there are listeners who are disagreeing with me right now. But, it really is the case. The rolls are random. So,
and, if you're a dice setter, you're not going to like bubble craps because it is random.
Yeah. If you're somebody who does believe setting the dice makes a difference or that some people can influence the dice, that kind of thing, then you're going to be convinced that bubble craps is terrible because it's completely random. Right. And then there are also people who feel that bubble craps is not random, that somehow the company and the casino has set it up to roll certain numbers depending on how people have bet, that kind of thing. There's always that kind of conspiracy theory.
Well, and not to disparage Niles, because I completely understand how he'd feel like this, but had he gone to bubble craps and made a bunch of points or had a very good, he would be saying the exact opposite.
Yeah, this was...
He'd be, I love that it's, it's like regular dice. It's like rolling the dice. Yeah. It's very random. And I got lucky because a bunch of hard 8s come up.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was a pretty small sample size. So, anything can happen in the short run.
Right.
He's talking about those self-serve soda machines. Oh my gosh, I love those. They shut them down after they reopened after the shutdown. I think they're starting to come back online again. But as long as the casino can keep it clean, and that's an issue because people are pigs, right?
That's an issue.
We're all terrible when it comes to, leaving cups around or things like that. But oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. But, people coughing in other people. There's a bunch of
sure.
cups
Yeah,
there.
no, I know.
You can pick someone's cup up.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I went out to Verona, they had that. I just went through every cup and coughed in it.
Did you?
I just figured, why not?
Yeah. Are you?
I was mad because I lost in craps.
You're trying to teach somebody a lesson at that?
I'll teach this casino.
Another hot week for Dr. Mike. I would love if they had a huge selection. That's the only thing is that it's usually a pretty small selection. It's either Coke products or Pepsi products, and maybe only a few of the real popular ones.
One of those Coke machines where you can pick. You can make 10 million different combinations.
Yes, yeah, that's what they need. Oh my God, can you imagine the line? People, how do I do this?
Yeah. Now I want to get cherry and vanilla, and I want some chocolate in there, and I want a mixture of Coke and Diet Pepsi and orange. But, sir, it's a Coke machine. There's no Diet Pepsi. I know, but I want some Diet Pepsi in there.
Security! All right, next call.
Hey, guys, it's Mike from West Central Indiana. I called a little trip report. I forgot to call last time. I went down to Southern Indiana. I got a little busy. Didn't have much to report then anyway. I lost my butt. I went back a couple weeks later. I had a pretty good day. Played about 11 hours straight. Anyway, so I ended up taking a trip this last week. I went down to Vegas and stayed at Ultra Hip Strip Suite at Planet Hollywood Comp, which was nice. We had a good time. I played craps about 6 or 7 hours a day. Played a pretty conservative strategy. Well, I was winning a decent amount of money, enough to keep my wife shopping anyway, right, which is a good W. The best hit I had was probably Wednesday. I had a $2 hard eight for me and a $2 hard eight for the crew. Player control hit, took mine to 20, theirs to 20. Hit again and collected theirs, took mine to 200 and hit one more time for $1,800. So that was a pretty nice one little shot to the bankroll. All in all, I had a good time. The crew and everybody that worked out there had to have masks on, but the guests did not. But that actually changed Friday morning at 12:01 a.m. We left Friday morning. When we were playing Thursday night, didn't have to have a mask on. But when we left the hotel on Friday morning, we did. So up until basically the whole time we were there, Vegas felt like it was pretty well back to normal. Lots of $15 tables. Planet Hollywood actually had $10 tables in the morning around breakfast time. We'd go down and have breakfast, and I'd play for a little bit. And every day they pretty much had $10 tables, which was kind of nice to see. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to report. Love the show. Hope everybody's doing well. And keep it up.
Okay, good to hear that there's some $10 tables on the strip, maybe at the off times, but still there. That's good.
Yeah. You know what they should have, Mark? They should have one of those Coke machines, and then just a button that says random.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And you don't know what it's giving you. I mean, it might just give you 1 or 2 or 3, or it could be like a suicide and have all the
any
flavors.
combination
It's just totally random.
Yeah, totally
random. All the potential combinations.
I would say that as long as it's not too random, because that would, I don't know if I could handle that.
You get pineapple and Diet Dr. Pibb.
All right. There's Dr. Pepper, and then there's Mr. Pibb.
Yeah.
All right.
Not in this machine.
All right.
Not in this machine.
All right. All right. Let's hear from our buddy Robin.
Hi, guys. This is Robin from Connecticut, and I wanted to share a couple trip reports with you. I went last week to Mohegan Sun and walked by an area that was usually full of slots that my wife and I have played for years, and all of a sudden it was getting ready to have stadium gaming all set up. It took a very large area, and I had no idea that they would have so many games available. This stadium gaming area not only included 3 games of baccarat, 2 blackjack, 1 roulette, 1 3-card poker, and also 1 craps. I had never seen live stadium gaming craps before. Well, I had no idea that this was going to be the first day they actually started opening up the stadium craps. Nobody there except for a couple techs and me. So I offered to help out and be their guinea pig and find any glitches that they may be unaware of. So I ended up being the first person to roll the dice on this particular table. Now, the table looks like any other craps table and reacts the same way. It's not like the hard surface that's not roll to win. For about an hour, I tested it with James, who was a really cool pit boss, and we had a lot of fun testing things out and playing bets that I don't ordinarily play, like the horn bet, hardways, etc. This is manufactured by Scientific Gaming. We found glitches along the way about hardways not staying on the betting table. The wait time was a little bit too long, which they changed it from 25 to 20 seconds on my suggestion. Thank you very much. There's only one dealer, stick person. They collect the 5 dice. You pick, just as usual. You roll the come-out roll. The stick man collects them, inputs the number, the computer takes over and pays people, and then the whole process starts all over again. The whole process takes about 40 to 60 seconds. In the case that they don't have a shooter or no one wants to shoot, then the stick man will use this bulbous round container that looks like a flying saucer with the 2 dice in it, and he will shuffle them much like sick bow. You can expect 5 times odds, $5 minimum, So I kind of like it. When I was shooting, the experience was just like a regular table. I think it's a great way for people to be able to learn how to play. The 20 seconds is probably too long for real craps players, but a good amount of time for beginners. Now, you can't use free slot play on these machines, and also the amount of points earned is barely anything, if anything at all. My third trip report coming up, it was a dark and rainy morning, so I went to Mohegan Sun. This experience was kind of bizarre. So I rolled, got the point, and then immediately added odds, placed the comeback. I landed on 9, and I wanted to find where to place the odds for the comeback. I had the manager of the table games right next to me, Don, and he was helping trying to get rid of a few glitches with the scientific gaming tech. Well, we couldn't find where to put the odds for the comeback, so he said to just clear the bet. Well, what we found out 4 rolls later when I made the point was that actually erased or took away my odds bet. So when I hit the point and I was expecting $20 more, it wasn't there. What happened in the next few minutes, I probably would have needed Perry Mason to represent me. I made the point that it wasn't my fault in that Don told me to do that. And as a craps player, you normally would expect that those odds to stay on the table. I went through about 20 minutes on and off between a few of the suits who actually understood and were willing to just give me the $20. And then there were 2 other lurchers that actually, they were trying to argue and make me admit that it was all my fault. And they did that 2 or 3 times. And I finally said, it's not about $20. It's about respecting your clientele. Casinos just don't understand that if you treat people right, they'll be very happy to come back and spend their money. Anyways, thank you guys for letting me share all of this. You guys are the best, and thank you very much for your support in my endeavors as well. So stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck on your next trip to Harrah's this weekend.
All right. Well, thanks, Robin. Again,
Thanks.
Robin from Time Gambling. And congrats for being able to be the first person to roll the dice on that stadium craps.
Now, was that a stadium table so other people are betting from a terminal somewhere else? It wasn't a roll to win.
No, it's not roll to win.
So how would they just pick somebody out of the crowd to roll?
Yeah, and Robin actually talked about this. Yeah, they basically go around and say who would like to roll. Or they kind of, go in order and see. Yeah. And if nobody wants to roll, then they have a way to do it.
But if you're up rolling, then you can't bet on the other games in the stadium games?
Probably not the other games. Yeah, I would think, because there's so much going on, you're paying attention to that. But yeah, a relatively new thing. I think Tim Lawson actually talked about this too. He saw it at a casino.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it is kind of interesting. I don't know that I would need that for stadium gaming, to be honest with you. In fact, I think I might almost prefer just an automated, bubble machine rolling. But I don't know. I haven't seen it. Right. So,
the nice thing is, the idea behind stadium gaming is you can play more than one game at once.
Right.
So I can have a craps roll and be playing blackjack or roulette or something. Yeah. If I was rolling, it'd be hard.
Yeah, well, that's probably why people might say, "Oh no, I'm not interested in rolling." Let somebody else do it.
Just want to bet on it.
Sure. But if you really feel like you're a good shooter, and you like the low limits of the stadium gaming, then definitely go for it. Yeah, what he's saying there about, this is something that you've kind of complained about in the past, right? A casino just, it's not about some $20 payout. It's more about, treating your customer right.
Well, part of the problem, and this is what I've come to believe, is that most of the pit bosses in a casino have never owned a business or ran a business, and they're not really trained or given adequate training on customer relations. Mm-hmm. They're all about the game. So these are the rules and this is what we do and blah, blah, blah. Everything's cut and dry, right? And there's not a lot of training about, well, we're running a business here. We want to keep people happy. So you have to look at it and say, well, let's just give them the $20 and keep them happy and move on, because they don't own a casino. It'd be different if it was the owner. The owner would be more likely to say, hey, I want your business back.
Do you think it might be, and maybe we're saying the same thing here, that it's like a corporate culture, like they're kind of thinking about the bottom line and what would my boss be thinking about, me giving away $20?
And they're just given a set of rules and they have to adhere to it instead of giving them. If we own a casino, when we own our casino, Mark, we're going to give the pit bosses the leeway to make decisions. Now, we keep an eye on that. And if some guy's giving away the house, well, that's not really cool. Right. But if he's just keeping people happy, then that's great.
Yeah. Folks, when we eventually get this casino, you're going to want to come right away because I have a feeling we're only going to be open for about a month.
No, I don't think so. People will be more than willing to come back. Mark, and you know as well as I do, the casino always wins.
That's true.
They can give away a ton of stuff and they'll still win.
All right, let's hear back from Steve, see how his trip to Cherokee went.
Hi, this is Steve from Virginia. I was calling for an update on Cherokee Casino. Had a blast there. It was fun. They have all gone back to required wearing masks. As far as everything else, the tables are still at full capacity. The food court is open. The buffet does not appear to be open yet, but several of the restaurants are. There was 4 regular craps tables, 1 crapless table, and then the shoot to win was all open and all full. Both nights that I was there, Saturday and Sunday. The table minimums are still up there. They've come down a little bit to 15, 25, and still 5 for the shoot to win. Other than that, everything is pretty much back to normal. At least it feels that way. I did, again, had a blast. Walked out with a little bit of extra money. And, planning on another trip later on in the month. I appreciate it. Y'all guys have a good one. And keep up the good work. Bye.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. So masks, coming back to a lot of places.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people around here in San Diego getting sick.
Yeah, and even though at Harrah's Southern California, they haven't made masks mandatory again, we're wearing them. I'd say most people are wearing them.
Yeah, there, you're supposed to wear them if you haven't been vaccinated.
Of course.
So, but even though you and I, we still wear ours because, there's a lot of people getting sick.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Michael from Vancouver, Canada here, longtime listener, first-time caller. Wanted to call in with a quick trip report to Vegas this past weekend. We were there for 4 nights from August 5th, and it was our first time out of the country since COVID started.
Oh, good.
We stayed at Vidara, and we were set up in a great 1-bedroom suite with views of the Strip and the Bellagio fountains, so that was awesome. I think a lot of people are wondering about the mask mandate that's currently in place. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that the large majority of people were actually abiding by the mask mandates. We were kind of skeptical on going, given the massive jump in cases in Clark County, but the Vegas itch got the better of us. And in the end, that said, we felt very safe the entire time, and especially being double vaxxed. So hopefully that eases some of your listeners' concerns about going. The masks weren't a problem at all, and after a while, you kind of forget that's even on your face. So if you're on the fence but otherwise healthy, I say go enjoy yourself. As for gambling, Aria table minimums for craps were $25, and blackjack for 3 to 2 tables were $50 all weekend, which I thought wasn't that bad for a higher-end property like Aria. I tried to be disciplined and play poker instead of table games or slots, but boredom got the better of me, and poker is literally just too slow. However, it ended up being a good decision since I played so much that I got a host assigned to me, which I believe implies that I can email him next time if I want to go, and he'll set me up with a room for free, along with any other comps he can offer based on my previous play. But please correct me if I'm wrong. It's my first time experience with a host. Despite playing so much, I ended up the trip even on my money, which I thought was a huge win. Our favorite dinner this time around was at Bellagio's Mayfair Supper Club, and our favorite lunch spot was the Teca Bar at the Cosmo. The Mayfair Supper Club was pricey, but the show was super entertaining, and the food was good. And the Teca Bar had the best hand rolls we've ever had for the price that we were paying. Overall, we had an awesome time, and can't wait to go back. Thanks for all you do on the show, and can't wait for your next episode. Bye now.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Hey, that's great now hearing that some of our Canadian friends can come on back in the country and go to Vegas.
Hopefully that lasts and stays.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, like we said in the last episode, our friend Pat, is coming this month. So,
right.
Yeah, you were assigned a host. So, there's a pretty good chance that in the future, if you were to contact them, they'd be able to set you up with a free room or at least something. Right. Not guarantee a free room. It'll depend on the weekend and that kind of thing. But sure, that is good news. And we always encourage players to use hosts when they can. They might not be able to comp everything, but certainly if you contact them, even if it's at the end of your trip when they can actually see your play, they'll probably be able to knock something off. Right. If things haven't already been comped up front.
If customer service is good, they will almost always knock something off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and maybe it's not the whole room, but maybe it's 2 nights of the 3 or something like that, So
if you have a host, definitely contact them, beforehand and maybe when you're leaving. And if you don't have a host, next time you're there, ask to speak to one. Or when you're making the arrangements beforehand and you're on the phone, ask to speak to a host. In some cases, they can accommodate you up front, and in others, they may need to see your play ahead afterwards. But their job is to make players happy. And so we encourage you to, take advantage of that. All right, one more call from Uncle G.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Uncle G calling in from the East Coast. Hopefully I'm your number one contributor this summer of East Coast information. I'd like to be named a correspondent perhaps one day. I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep trying to get better. Johnny O and I took a little trip to New York State this weekend. We want to go check out the races at the Saratoga racetrack, where thoroughbreds have been racing since 1863. And a day at the track up there is you bring a picnic basket, a cooler, you bring some beer, sandwiches, you sit out under a tree, enjoy your lunch, kids are running around, dogs are running around, and you walk up and bet on horse racing. How great is that? So we stayed at the Saratoga Casino, which is almost adjacent right to the track. And it's one of those where there's no table games. So there's a lot of video games, there's obviously slots, and there was a $2 bubble. So that kind of casino, you can kind of get started, but, it doesn't really meet all your needs. Anyway, there's a Saratoga Casino Hotel there, which was okay. Then the next day, we checked out the Rivers Casino in Schenectady, New York, right in what they call the Capital Region near Albany. And I remember Coach Fobb talking about Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh. Just haven't been there yet. Anyway, these local casinos are just fantastic. Here's some of the gaming conditions offered at Rivers Casino on a Monday. They had 2 $10 craps tables running. Most of the day, they switched to $15 around 6 o'clock at night. But anyway, they have a bank of full-pay game key machines. So, I was playing 9-6 jacks or better for a quarter. So full-pay machines at a quarter. They have commission-free mini baccarat. They had $10 blackjack the whole day, even at night, that paid 3 to 2. They have an awesome sports book. There was a ball to gamble in there. We still don't have that in Massachusetts. And the service at this place was fantastic. We signed up for a Players Club card. A host came out to see us. Just asking directions because we've never been there before. The service is fantastic. It's free to park. It's smoke free. And, these local casinos are so darn good, it makes it more and more difficult for folks like us who are far away to go to Vegas. With all the different fees and the cost and the travel time, these local casinos are just killing it. Can't wait to get down and check out another Rivers Casino, maybe in Pittsburgh, maybe run into Coach Fobb. All right, Uncle G's out. Hope you guys are well.
All right, thanks for the report, Uncle G. And of course, Coach Fab that he's talking about is the host of the Casinos USA podcast, so check that out.
Yeah, when, he made a good point. It's true. They make it so easy not to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a gambler. If you're going for a trip to see some shows with your family, or that's a different story. But if you're a gambler just going for a weekend to gamble, these local casinos have way better conditions.
Well, it's like Uncle G is saying, in some ways, Las Vegas is making it harder to go to. Right? Less attractive, again, with these fees and parking and, so.
And they'll learn.
I think eventually they will. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything else. It's like when they went family friendly and every place was having a theme park and then that didn't work out and they changed. They went back. They'll learn about this too. Eventually they'll learn, maybe we shouldn't be charging for parking.
Yeah,
right?
Well, let's hope so. Las Vegas is good at reinventing itself.
Right.
Now, Mike, during Uncle G's call, you were kind of laughing to yourself. You want to say something? You have something you'd like to say?
I'm going to say it at the end.
All right. We'll do it at the end. Well, before we get to the end here, NFL season is right around the corner, and that means our semi-annual poker tournament is also right around the corner. Remember, we like to have that tournament the Sunday before the NFL season starts, and that's what we're going to do again this year. That'll be Sunday, September 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on PokerStars. Now, I'm not able to actually create the tournament yet, and of course, you're not able to actually sign up for the tournament, but if you're not already in our poker group on PokerStars, just send us an email with your email address and your PokerStars username. Just send that to youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. I'll make sure you're on the list. And then once you're able to sign up for the tournament, I'll send an announcement out to everyone.
And if I don't have a PokerStars username or account yet, how do I get that?
So, go to pokerstars.net and download the app and then just follow all the instructions. It's absolutely free. We're going to be using their free money site, so it doesn't cost you anything to sign up. And, you create your username right there and then just take it from there.
And you do get some free chips when you join, and you can get free chips every
4 hours, I think it is.
4 hours.
You get like 15,000.
So every time you turn on your computer, you can click on that real quick and get some more free chips. You'll have tons of chips by the time the poker tournament comes.
Right, because the tournament will actually cost 20,000 in play money chips to enter. So, yeah, that's important too. But anyway, coming up here, and we'll actually have another episode before the tournament. We'll talk more about it then.
Give all the specific details.
Yeah, we'll get way more details. So that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring PayPal donations. James, the Color Up Craps YouTube channel, Kurt, Justin, and Robin from Anytime Gambling. Thank you very much. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We'd love getting your feedback. Mike, you're almost cracking up already. What's going on?
Well, people who know us know that we give each other a hard time.
Sure.
And we goof around a lot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what gets me through every week, to be honest, is we inevitably say something so stupid, and then all week long, I just laugh and laugh to myself about it. And whenever I feel down, I laugh. So I've decided I should start to share those with the world because we need a little more laughter.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to tell you what this week's joke was.
Okay.
I got a margarita.
Yeah.
The casino. I had finished drinking all my margarita, and I was telling you how good it was. It really was. It was one of the best margaritas I think I've
they
had.
make a good margarita at Harris.
I mean, we're close to Mexico. And
well, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but okay, sure.
Yeah, it was a great margarita.
Yeah.
And I'm all done. And I said, you should get one. And you were drinking your Fireball, and you kind of poo-pooed the idea.
Yeah.
And then I said... And this happened right as the stick was changing, and the dealer, Tam, had just walked up, and I'm next to the stick, and I turn to you and say, well, do you at least want to lick the salt off my rim?
That's exactly what he said.
And that's all Tam heard. He heard nothing else.
Didn't see your drink.
No.
Had no idea you were drinking a margarita.
No, I'd already put it underneath. He just... All he heard was, do you want to lick the salt off my rim? I was laughing so hard. He laughed. The whole 20 minutes on the stick, he was giggling about me saying that. Yeah. Oh, God. There was another one, too, we said at one point. I can't remember.
All right, we'll start writing these down then.
I'm going to write these.
I had forgotten that. I'm glad you brought that.
Do you want to lick the salt off my rim?
Oh, one of these days, I'm going to have to go back through all of our episodes and actually make a list of T-shirts. I'll tell you, Jim from New York, you're pretty good at calling back a lot of our episodes. If you could send me a list of all our T-shirt ideas, I'd appreciate it.
Jim will send you the list. Oh, gosh. I laughed so hard. I was laughing all week about that since Saturday night.
That's great.
And I don't know what made me think about that during Uncle G's call. Just thought of it.
Yeah.
Now on a more somber note, the Padres are done.
Oh, yeah, no, that's it. Mike said that the other night. Oh, Mark, they're not going to the playoffs. I said, that's fine. We had our no-hitter this year. I said at the time, that's good enough for me for the whole year.
It was so promising.
Yeah.
It was so promising, and now they're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I know technically they're still in it, but they're done.
Well, the only hope that I have is that you are so often wrong when you make claims like that, that now I have more hope than I had before.
I wish I could be wrong about this one, but I got a bad feeling they're going nowhere.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's too bad. And you've got the Dodgers and the Giants, and that's a big problem.
And they don't
too,
lose.
So, yeah.
They don't lose. They seem to win every day.
Yeah.
And the Padres are so inconsistent.
That's
it's
the thing,
most
right? Yeah.
inconsistent pitching and hitting. I mean, one night they'll pitch great, and then they'll have 2 crappy games.
Yeah.
Or they'll hit really good for a couple nights, and then they'll go a week without people getting hits. It's just very strange how they can be that inconsistent.
Yeah, what do you know? We're complaining about San Diego sports.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.
El Cajon? That's the Enos of San Diego.